Look, I know this video seems negative, but it's like not kind of negative, whatever. Late Night Shift is one of the best fan games I've ever played. It takes the remains of a game that was abandoned by its developers and transforms it into a product that clears any other Hello Neighbor game. So much love and passion and care was put into making the Hello Guest game that never was. However, unlike many other indie horror games, this is one of the only remains of the old Hello Neighbor community, as it has been slowly crumbling away over the past couple of years. Cancelled game after cancelled mod, YouTubers and content creators leaving and losing interest as they move on with their lives. The Hello Neighbor community is dying, and at this point, it might be dead. But I have hope that this game can show others that the community can create some amazing shit if they put the time and effort. So in this video, I wanted to answer a small funny question. What makes this game so special? Welcome to the Amelia's channel, where I make a 30-minute video essay on the highly anticipated fan game Late Night Shift while talking about the Hello Neighbor community. This is gonna be kind of like a 2-in-1 video or something. This video has been in the works for around 4 months, and it's grown so much bigger than I originally intended it. But I don't care, that just means more watch time. And also, if you've been in this community, I would really appreciate it if you put your thoughts on the fandom and the franchise as a whole in the comments. This is all just from my perspective. And who knows, I may have a bad opinion, I don't know. So let's begin with a bit of insight on this game and the community, with where it all began. In 2019, the next installment of the Hello Neighbor franchise, Secret Neighbor, launched on Steam. At first, you might be asking, how the fuck is this relevant? Well, let me explain. There were a couple secrets throughout the game. For starters, if each player pulled these 6 levers at the same time, a Fortnite type of life event called Mayak would occur, where a storm would violently take over the sky, with flocks of crows flying throughout the sky. And finally, in the distance, a weather station could be seen. There was also a locked door that needed a key card, and although these type of doors were present throughout the game, this specific door required a question mark card, while the others required a numbered card. Although it took a bit, the community found out that this crow was carrying the question mark key card, and you could obtain it if you hit the bird with a slingshot. So then the community unlocked the door, and discovered a bathtub. Oh, okay. On the other side of the map, there was a new secret to be discovered. There was a board in the neighbor's room, with weird pictures being displayed. Somehow, the community found the code /HGP with the pictures, used that as a URL to the Secret Neighbor website, and got access to this weird application. Unfortunately, we needed a password to unlock the inscription, so the community went back to the weird room, as they started to search for the code, where after a good amount of digging, they found the code. How, you may ask? Well, it's simple. Actually, no, I'm lying. Haha! So as the inventor, you needed to grab this shovel blueprint, where after collecting 10 gears would let you craft a shovel. Then you could dig up this grave, which gave you access to this part that could power the windmill. So now the bathtub was powered, where if you were the neighbor, you would be able to teleport to this random room, where 4 colored lights would just appear or something. And somehow the community found out that you could enter these color codes into this random ass printer, and you could just get 4 random letters. However, that wasn't the mysterious code for the application. It was only 1/20th. You had to do this whole process 20 times to get 80 characters, and then, and only then, you would get access to the mysterious game. This Easter egg was so confusing and dumb that it was even difficult for me to figure it out 4 years later, since there are like literally 3 videos by little kids who did this. And although I knew a lot of this to begin with, the only reason I know this entire Easter egg is because of this random video by Sheep Rampage. Bless your heart, no matter how much you used to milk this franchise. Now, onto the game itself, Hello Guest. When you opened it, it was clearly a prototype, as seen by literally everything. But as people started playing this game, they could quickly decipher what this game was all about. Your goal was to patrol the park and stop these things from vandalizing the kiosk. However, a strange figure is constantly trying to sneak up on you and catch you when you're not looking. also known as a guest. Oh, you see what I did there? As you start to play the game, you notice a few things. For starters, there are hidden rooms throughout the park that need certain items to progress through. At the end of your shift, you can get many more items at the shop with your salary that you obtain for patrolling the park. Your new goal is to explore and find out where all of these secrets lead to. You first power a generator with gasoline to be able to ride the roller coaster to another section of the park. Then you need to power the ride with the correct fuses. You now have the goal to break this wall to reveal what it hides. The game finally turns into a back and forth of defending the park to get money for the shop while progressing through these puzzles put in place. However, you need to do all this in under a week, or else the guest will destroy the wall himself by bombing it. Wow, okay. If you're not like me, who actually beat the game instead of just watching a video because you don't have like a ton of stuff that you need to go forward with, you break the wall in this super cinematic cutscene where the Mayak is revealed, the weather station. This prototype was actually really good. Although it was clearly in early development, the gameplay itself was very interesting and actually kind of scary. Many content creators covered it and generally enjoyed it, even if it was very complicated. So after a few teasers and stuff, we would then get the reveal that Hello Guest would be upgrading to an alpha on June 13, which was released not only on Steam and not only Xbox, but also iOS, and it was both a major upgrade and kind of a downgrade. Clearly, the 3D artists finished most of their assets, because this game looks good. Although a good amount of people prefer the blue open atmosphere, this new version shows off this green and overgrown environment. Everything now has this upgraded and realistic Hello Neighbor art style, which makes the game look so distinct and creative. Starting up the game, you now have the choice between two characters, Quentin and Beatrix. Although each character does not have the different gameplay, they will have different cutscenes. The game starts out with the character of your choice entering the park, where you are given a map and instructions of where to go. Once you make it to your office, you are given the instructions to both protect the park from vandals and investigate the top of the mountain. The gameplay itself is very similar, where you go around kiosks, warding off vandals, putting out fires, and avoiding the guests, while finding out what is at the top of the hill. Get money from the store, progress, find Man in the Hat, and get kidnapped. And do some really dumb puzzles throughout. The community fell in love with this game, discussing each and every Easter egg and dissecting the game files to find secrets. The future was looking high for this product. Concept art for different levels, mysteries on all the new characters, and it was all scrapped. Yeah. So out of nowhere, Hello Neighbor 2 was announced and Hello Guest was done. Cancelled. All of this time of you watching me explain this game and all the time the community spent with it, wasted. They scrapped an entire game for Hello Neighbor 2, and then scrapped Hello Neighbor 2 to make a worse Hello Neighbor 2. Look, I'm not gonna act like this game was a masterpiece, but it had an amazing concept, and it's still disappointing to see what could have been. And as the years went by, we really got no updates, as the community was left disappointed. Although recently, Nikita, is that how you say, whatever, the main guy behind Hello Neighbor, talked about Hello Guest, where he gave us the reason for the cancellation. Apparently, the game was supposed to be this big open world with many puzzles and such, but the thing was too big for the team to handle at the time, and just couldn't make it. Look, I understand that game development is very difficult, but canceling an entire game that was built up? That's a bit Who cares though, game's cancelled, too bad, so sad, move on. However, someone who covered Hello Guest and the entire franchise stepped up and said, fine, I'll do it myself. So in 2021, Devil Ninja would begin work on one of, if not the most ambitious game from the Hello Neighbor community, Late Night Shift. For around 2 years, the game was in development by the newly formed Welcome Studios. The main source of news would come from the LNS Discord server, where updates and teasers would be shared. It was announced that Late Night Shift would release on August 6th, and it did. A trailer would coincide with the release, along with many Hello Neighbor fans who played the game and stuff. So after 2 months, a couple of post-launch patches, a good amount of videos made on the game, and much more, it's safe to say that this game has been received extremely well, with many praising just the concept alone of remaking Hello Guest into something that executes its concept very well, something tinybuild couldn't even do themselves. I think it's time to actually talk about the game. So Late Night First, we open up with an amazing looking title screen, showing off the stunning environments and visuals, which have an absurd amount of detail. The UI is looking cool as hell, with again, an absurd amount of detail. Loading up the game, we are once again given the choice between Beatrix and Quentin. And just like before, they have the exact same gameplay, just with different cutscenes. We open up with our selected character entering the Golden Apple amusement park, with the exact same animations from the original Hello Guest. We then walk down the street as we face the entrance of the park. Then we only have to wander to our office and answer the phone, where we are instructed to defend the park. When you start your shift, you're only given a flashlight and a fire hydrant. Throughout the roughly 10-minute night, you will roam around the massive park as you look for vandals to ward off, as they will run away if spotted. There are different variations of vandals, as although some of them will just play music and walk around the park, the rest will destroy the kiosks. These weird poles will indicate whether a vandal is kicking down your structure, or even setting them on fire, where in these circumstances, you have to use the fire hydrant to put it out. So throughout the night, you will roam around the park, just spotting vandals so that they could run away. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, this is a horror game. The guest is back, and he's like the exact same thing from Hello Guest. During the first night, he just stalks you. Menacingly. God, I'm tired of YouTubers referencing SpongeBob memes. Like, especially if I had a nickel for every time that, yeah, you get it. Please stop. It's annoying. It's not funny anymore. It isn't until the second night where he actually tries to sneak up on you. And if he does catch you, you're only sent back to your office with a major increase in your panic meter. The panic meter returns from Hello Guest, where if you get caught too much or get stressed out enough, your shift is cut short, but if you manage to make it to the end, you're instructed to go back to your office and end your shift. Off the bat, you're given some big cash money just for defending the park, although repairs for the park damages done by the vandals will come out of your paycheck. With your money, you could buy a variety of items from the shop. Then you go back to your job and the cycle repeats over and over and over and over and over again. And over and over. Let me just get it out there. The game's environment is amazing. Although most of the models are ripped straight out of Hello Guest, there's still a good amount of unique assets created. The park itself is overgrown, with this blue atmosphere from the prototype mixed with the Hello Guest Alpha's environment. God, I just have to praise this art style so much. It creates its own distinct feel. A new soundtrack is also here, and it's really good. Like I said in a previous video, I don't know how to describe music, other than it fits very well, and some old tracks from the original Hello Guest game make an appearance. There are also a ton of mechanics that I will mention right now. Okay, first we have the flashlight, which can be used to see better and spot vandals easier. Fire hydrants can both put out fires and elevate you. Your panic meter can be dealt with by using pills or drinking coffee. You can place cameras around that can be seen with a monitor. You can throw items into trash bins to make a few extra bucks. All of your items could be put into lockers, and your items could be obtained like an ender chest. CDs can be played in CD players. That's it, and that's not even including the stuff you could buy in the store. Ropes can be used to trip vandals, radios can play music, you can duplicate keys with this machine, gasoline cans can be used to fill up stuff, crowbars can be used to break down boards, wires can be used to help power stuff, generators can actually power stuff, and there's like 20 different types of them. There are 20 different types of batteries. These weird pole things can be used to shine light throughout, to ward off vandals and the guests. There's also like 20 different types of them. Okay, you get the point. The game has so many interesting mechanics without feeling too cluttered. Okay, that's all cool and stuff, but how do you actually beat the game? After a bit of playing, you will notice that the attic of your office is guarded with a couple of planks. After getting the crowbar, you can access this room, where you can obtain a few items, with the most important being this key, which will allow you to access 2 different locations in the park. Although most people go to the cafeteria first, it is likely intended that you first enter the power plant. Inside here, you could figure out that powering the area will also grant you access to this haunted house ride. You will need to get these expensive batteries to fuel the generators. Once that's done, you then have to press this button and wait for a sequence to complete. No matter how much you guard the entrance, the guest will enter the plant and destroy the generators, but the only way to stop him is with these security lamps, as you have to put them in front of the generators, which will scare the guest off. Sounds simple. No! These things just suck. For starters, the gasoline version is the best, because it is the only one I could manage to refill, but even then, they just seem to randomly fail me. You also have to place them in the exact position or you're doomed. The worst part about it is that you have to figure all of this out while your park burns to death. I completely forgot that I had to defend the park. I don't know why I didn't figure out that I could ward the park off, I could focus on the puzzles with 0 time limit and no vandals wandering around during my shift hours. But I'm just stupid and let my park burn like it's FNAF 6. It's funny, that's so funny, laugh, laugh. It got to a point where it's going through a Great Depression. Thankfully, no matter how much money you lose, you can still make a comeback, and that's exactly what I did. I beautifully defended the park. I realized that I could make money just by throwing stuff away, and thus, I got like 20 lamps and scattered them around. So after 30 gigabytes of footage later, I completed the level and could access the ride. Although from this point, you need a key to actually start up the ride, with the way to get it being so much more simpler. You go into this bakery and play around with this battery thing and get the key, which is located in this underground bunker thing, which is pretty cool. Once the ride is operational, you can finally, ride it. Wow, my scripts are shitty. I really like this section. The Buzz Lightyear ride mixed with Haunted Mansion is not only really cool, but pretty original, even if a couple unrealistic elements are implemented. It's just a really fun section where you just shoot stuff and praise the graphics. God, did I mention how good the graphics are? However, your ride goes into a spooky tunnel, and we are shown cardboard cutouts of locations which we'll see later. Our ride then just crashes and we are left to go up the hill and encounter the Man in the Hat once again. However, this time, this reused cutscene is extended, as a previously scrapped interaction plays out, where the man is attacked by the guest, allowing the player to try to escape. But unfortunately, we're not let go just yet, and the game ends. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this is only the first chapter. Unlike Hello Guest, Welcome Studios is actually gonna make more chapters and levels, starting with the weather station, and presumably the neighbor's home. But for now, that's pretty much it. The developers have stated that there will be more updates in the future, as after the launch, many new patches came out, with the Halloween version available now. From the looks of it, it's added and changed a ton of features, with new additions that look fun, and it's pretty good. I think, I don't know, at the time of recording, I haven't played it yet, so sorry. Damn, that was good. This is not only one of my favorite fan games of all time, but also my favorite Hello Neighbor fan project overall. Besides if Hello Neighbor was realistic, but you know, we can't all be winners. It's just so good. Like, there are problems with unclear direction, especially with the power plant area, relying a bit too much on reused animations. And unfortunately, the game isn't very scary, even if it really has its moments. But overall, I would recommend you play it. Link in description. Support this and the devs as much as you can because they deserve it. Welcome Studios, congratulations on making this game. I know I'm very late to this, but still. So go play it right now, and I hope you enjoy this video. Yeah, you probably read the title already, so let's get into it. You see, the reason I'm making this video right now is because the Hello Neighbor community is dead. Ever since the pre-alpha days, Hello Neighbor has maintained a community of people who has supported the franchise throughout its ups and downs. The peak was in 2016 to early 2017, where Hello Neighbor was being hyped up. So many theories, animations, songs, and videos were coming out left and right. However, as we all know, the game came out and it kind of sucked. However, the fandom was still alive. Sure, we didn't have Markiplier anymore, but Zach Blake would do just fine. Hype for Hide and Seek, Secret Neighbor, the books, theories, and most importantly, the mods. Tiny Build launched the Hello Neighbor mod kit, allowing players to create their own houses and secrets using the Unreal Engine 4. Although some early mods kinda sucked, as people got more experience, these games just kept on getting better and better and better. Nightmare Night, the prototype remake, Home Alone Neighbor. Hello Neighbor mods are equivalent to FNAF fan games, as they helped each community thrive with new ideas and gameplay. 2020 rolled around, and the community was eating like a glutton. Hello Guest, new books, lore. Like, who cares if the game was cancelled at this point? We were promised so much. Hello Neighbor 2 with its supposedly really good AI, new updates to Secret Neighbor, a TV show. Hello Engineer, okay, it wasn't all that good. Banana Milky. Hello Neighbor 2 Diaries website. The tease of Alpha 2. There was so much going for this community. So much to be excited for until you realize this is Hello Neighbor we're talking about. The same people who promised this also made that one game from December of 2017. They showed off a cool game with an amazing idea, had admittedly kinda terrible alphas, but they would fix it in the full game. Right? There were so many unsolved secrets and unused content that would surely all be brought back. Right? They had this vibe, this environment. Surely they wouldn't completely change it into a shell of its former glory. Right? Tinyville didn't learn from their prior mistakes, and us fans didn't learn to not fall for it a second time. How does that saying go? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Yeah, that's basically it. Hello Engineer sucked. Hello Neighbor 2 was disappointing, and the book stopped carrying the franchise since they were discontinued. Secret Neighbor updates slowed down drastically, and the community was forced to abandon all of the loose threads put in place, because the trajectory of the franchise completely changed one day, abandoning everything new introduced. This is also the time when Hello Neighbor is Bad videos started coming out. They repeated the same thing, with the same lack of research and the same points. Everyone knew that the franchise sucked. It wasn't worth beating up a dead horse, since no amount of punches will be able to have it feel something again. They were quite literally cash grabs. That was bad and all, but if these YouTubers could enjoy the series, no one could. You see, mods and fan games were still coming out, along with Hello Neighbor YouTubers and Secret Neighbor custom maps. However, no matter the quality, they would slowly fade away. It would honestly take a very long time to name every creator that has left this franchise and each project that has been cancelled over the years. So I'll try my best. But I just want to say this right now, don't force any of these creators to return to the Hello Neighbor community. I can't stress this enough. Please let these creators go on with their lives. Please. Alright, to start off, there have been many mods and fan games. For example, A Night in Ravenbrooks, Secrets of the Park, Home Alone Guest, Sinner, Wrong House, Out of Order, Megalophobia, Hello Neighbor Refreshed. All of them, and so much more, have been cancelled over the past 3 years. Now, I've only been able to play a handful of them, but from my experience, they were extremely good. You can tell that these games were created with so much passion, and just, why, they were cancelled, I'm mad. Like, I mean, I understand why, but it's still sad and stuff. These developers just fell out of love with the series, and moved on to better things. Big content creators have either been rarely uploading about the franchise in recent times, or just abandoned the series as a whole. But I think the creators who had it the worst are what I like to call Hello Tubers, or Neighbor Tubers. I don't know, it's a stupid name anyways. Basically, from 2018 to 2021, a good amount of small channels would appear, where most of the time they would make videos on the Hello Neighbor franchise. Their big boom was in 2020, as the launch of Secret Neighbor allowed for a plethora of videos, like gameplay, theory, small animations, ideas for new games and updates, just so much content. However, these channels seem to have just been left behind, especially ever since Secret Neighbor started to receive less updates as the years went by. Since nothing was coming out, there was much less to talk about. And in 2024, very few of them have made it. I mean, there's still channels to this day that primarily talk about Hello Neighbor, but most of the small channels have completely disappeared, as they just lie abandoned to this day. Not me though, haha! You see, during 2021 to 2023, I was a Hello Tuber myself. The reason I knew about the Hello Guest stuff and the downfall of this community is because I've always been here. I even remember Cool Cat TV. Remember him? The whole 2 people who remember? Am I right? I would upload a bunch of crappy Let's Play videos, and like, they were bad.
Guys, you know, I would save him, but I found out that he's donated a Pokemon, so yeah, stay in the sim. Alright.
However, the point is that I was having fun. Although I never made any money, and never actually growing a fan base besides interacting with the Cheetah's Potato and Premature Burger those couple times. God, we miss you both. At the end of the day, I enjoyed spending a couple of hours to make the funniest videos I could make. Although, as the months started to pass, the views began to drastically drop. Fast. Previously, I would get a couple hundred views in a month, but around the time of Hello Neighbor 2's launch, I would be lucky just to get at least 100. Even if I would start to gain even more viewers, it was out of luck. And honestly, I think viewers were getting desperate for any Hello Neighbor content. Like for me, when the Good Ending video dropped, I was starting to pull numbers I've never pulled before, and I thought the community was back. However, it was just like all an illusion. The people who viewed my videos, those millions of viewers, all of those subscribers, weren't fans of me or the series. They just stumbled onto my videos, maybe watched a couple more, then forgot about it all, moved on without remembering. Then the realization hit that the community was dead. Not even those videos claiming that the series was dead could save it. No amount of marketing, good or bad, could make people care enough. In real time, I saw as all of these creators go one by one, and then I went too. And I got desperate. And I thought, why not try to make videos on a different series? If viewers managed to care about a crappy video game series, then they would definitely care about FNAF. I was in limbo. You see, us Hello Neighbor tubers centered our entire channel around the Hello Neighbor franchise. That is all we were known for. If we tried to move on, then no one would care, since it wasn't about the spooky Mr. Peterson game. But no one cares about Hello Neighbor in the first place, thus leaving you stuck in limbo, where no matter what you did, most people would not care to see it. Now fortunately for me, I somehow managed to save my stupid career by moving on to video essays. And this whole discussion about Hello Tubers is from my point of view. This is the way I saw things, and it may have been different from person to person. My channel is just one big example of the Hello Neighbor community. As for a lot of the other channels, they have been abandoned and will most likely never come back. And even if people care about the creators, will the creators themselves care about it all? And it's not like TinyBuild can promise that this time they will make a good game, that they have finally learned from their hundreds of mistakes and will once again save the community. Even if they aren't lying, no one will really care. It's that simple. No one cares. This is your fault, TinyBuild. You knowingly releasing these games, knowing what you promised, knowing that you couldn't deliver on them, knowing this is what you've always been doing, but ironically, you don't care. It has been very depressing seeing this community so close to you slowly die, and even worse, knowing that the creators could have done so much to stop this downward spiral, but we have to live with it. Well, shit, this is the real end to this video. I hope you enjoyed and have a good life. Please let me sleep. Not again. Guess my day's even worse. Just get it over with. Wait, hold up. This is it. This is where the revival starts. I forgot to talk about the animated series and 2024 as a whole. Oh my god, the day is saved. So I already made 2 videos on both seasons of the animated series, and why I think the show is pretty good. Go watch it if you care. The important thing is that it managed to save, I don't know, the entire franchise. Now when the first season concluded, it didn't leave a mark initially, but what it did do was help the community as it was currently. The show was generally pretty good. It showed that TinyBuild was committed to making something that didn't spawn out of greed. However, there were still fans who didn't like the season, purely because it had admittedly kind of messed up the lore and timeline and stuff, but TinyBuild already knew how to cheer them up. A bit after the launch of Hello Neighbor 2, Alex, the CEO of TinyBuild, who also commented on my video, I'm trying to flex right now, cool, posted a thread on Twitter discussing the guest's absence from the game. In summary, he talked about how the guest just didn't fit in, but he would come back, which he did. Skip a few teasers of 2, a planned Halloween launch, just to release on November 1st, and we finally got the reintroduction of the guest in the forest level of Hello Neighbor 2. This section did everything the base game tried to do, but better. The environments were beautiful, the main villain was scary, the whole level was scary. It was an actual sandbox with many new and cool mechanics, and the soundtrack was somehow even better. This and the show made Hello Neighbor end well in 2023, and in 2024 it looked bright. So then some stuff happened in the community, and we were once again at an all-time low. Although, while the main community was in shambles, new fans were looking back on this series, and it all started with the baddest— okay, what the fuck? Like I said in my last video, their positive reactions allowed many people to look back on this series, and stuff, blah blah blah. This would be one of the main things that would save the franchise in the public eye. While the games were still seen as bad, they slowly were seen less and less as the worst of mascot horror. And the TV show, along with the recent version of Hello Neighbor 2, was what many people used to get back into the series. And surprise surprise, if you made a good product, people will like that product. How shocking! Although, this unexpected revival wouldn't fully come into fruition until October and November. So with the hype game from the first season, Welcome to Ravenbrook Season 2 would be a big hit across Twitter and stuff. And the fact that the season was good overall would lead to a newfound interest in the franchise. This was a great way to fully revive the series. However, little did everyone know, Tiny Build would not only have one closer, but two. And it all began to wrap up on November 11th, when episode 6 would premiere. And after some major setup, a playground came into frame. And after waddling around, we got confirmed that a Hello Neighbor movie was in production. Wowie f***ing zowie. The internet went diabolical. This game series has not reached this level of attention and love ever since Alpha 2 from 2016. But even though hype surrounding the franchise will grow exponentially, much work will have to be done for the fans. So how has the community began to sprout back into its former glory? Well, it really started when Nikita, the original lead of the Hello Neighbor franchise, stepped in to the Discord server that I am currently banned in. If a moderator is watching this, please add me back. Please. We hadn't heard from him in a while, so it was cool enough to see him back. At first, he shared some extra tidbits and unreleased stuff from the games, but later, he would basically reassure the fans and basically help the current problems that the franchise was facing. He talked about how Hello Neighbor 2 Patch 10 was not cancelled, the books are still canon, information on the lore that gave hope to the community, and finally, the announcement of Hello Neighbor 3, and the want to make not only a good game, but an actually makeable game, helped the fandom survive, and healed many of the wounds. Now, I wouldn't say the community has been fully revived, but I will say that the future does look bright, along with the current state of the franchise as a whole. The future games and teasers for other things look really good. There's a newfound interest. There have been so many other fan games that have also released in recent time. And would you look at that, Hello Neighbor Tours, or whatever the fuck I call them, are still around. And the future for not only the channels, but the creators themselves seem to only grow from here. Hello Neighbor is fucking back, and I'm here for it. So, like, what's up? Like, all this talk of the community reviving and stuff, all of that, like, we've heard all that shit. But what has shown that? We need to show our answers. We need some evidence that the community is still capable, now that the franchise is in a slightly better position. What has the community done that proves that it's still alive? So we're finally back talking about Late Night Shift, after ages. So why? Why did I take so much time to talk about this game? Why did I even choose this fan game at all? What makes it so special? Well, I fully believe that this game perfectly represents how good and talented this fandom truly is. How there are people as creative as them who still care about this series. This game gives me hope that there are still so many great people who care about great things for this hopefully soon to be great franchise. Even when is sad and bad and gloomy, the community can get over it. The launch of this game back in August was massive. So many creators and HelloTubers covered and rightfully praised the living hell out of it, having so much fun and being so creative with things like their Let's Plays, kind of like a few years ago. This was a sign to the fans of Hello Neighbor that this series wasn't going anywhere, as long as people this amazing are in the community. So a happy 7 years to this franchise, and I'll see you later in my review of the Hello Neighbor books. Alright, now scram.